家人们，咱说这都2025年了，我真的建议大家结婚做婚检哈。刚来的 HIV，自己不知道，老公不知道，老实人接盘了，谁懂啊？家人们，谁懂啊？刚结婚没多久，这老公也是跟着遭殃了。你排查了所有人，哎，是人家的前男友一个小混混，你啥也没干，几十万结了个婚，搞了 HIV，天塌了！我老天公地啊，这什么天门开局啊？牛！
最近湖北有一对男女相亲认识，结婚前做婚检，女方查出了艾滋。
Recently, a shocking premarital health check incident occurred in Hubei. A man and a woman got to know each other through a blind date, their relationship progressed quickly, and they moved toward marriage. During the premarital checkup, the woman was diagnosed with HIV, which is the virus that causes AIDS. But what's truly baffling is, she actually asked the doctor not to inform her fiancé of the result. And the two still went ahead and got married as planned. Not long after, the man was also unfortunately diagnosed with HIV. Furious, the husband stormed into the hospital, confronted the doctor face to face, and declared he would hold them accountable. I'm honestly speechless. What's the point of a premarital checkup then? I used to think wedding checkups were just a chicken rib, something tasteless but not worth throwing away. Many people asked me whether it was necessary, and I never took it too seriously. But after today's incident, I've started to rethink it. Maybe the problem isn't the checkup itself, but the lack of transparency afterward. If results are found but never disclosed, isn't that just a waste of time? But if all the information gets disclosed, for example, if it turns out the woman has had multiple abortions or multiple past partners, maybe the man would think twice about marrying her. So now premarital checkups have become this awkward no-win situation. Finding out the truth doesn't mean you're allowed to say it, and saying it might bring even more trouble. What's even more outrageous is that after the whole thing happened, the woman actually pushed all the blame onto the hospital, saying it was the doctor who mishandled the situation. The doctor is stuck right in the middle, completely torn. If they choose to stay silent, they risk major consequences. But if they choose to speak up, they might be sued, complained about, even suspended or fired. I remember there was a similar case just last year. A couple went for a premarital checkup, and the woman was diagnosed with HIV. The doctor chose to tell the man the truth, and the couple ended up not getting married. But who would have guessed? The woman turned around and filed a complaint for violating her privacy, and the doctor got suspended for 3 months and later resigned. So tell me, what is a doctor supposed to do in this situation? Speak up and get punished, or stay silent and watch someone else get hurt? According to the current AIDS prevention and control regulations, there is indeed a clear rule. The privacy of the patient must be protected. Except for the patient and the medical institution, no one else is allowed to know the diagnosis. Not even the husband is considered someone who has the right to know. The original intention is to prevent discrimination and social panic. But here's the problem. What if the patient has bad intentions and deliberately spreads the virus? If the hospital doesn't inform anyone, how are innocent people supposed to protect themselves? The law's original intent might be good, but in reality, doesn't this kind of confidentiality rule end up acting like a shield for malicious people? We really have to think about it. Are we protecting the vulnerable, or are we inadvertently protecting those who do harm? If someone is deliberately spreading the disease, this kind of system becomes a dangerous loophole. That's why I sincerely hope everyone, especially those who call themselves little fairies, princes, princesses, or young masters, if you're truly infected with this kind of disease, please take responsibility for yourself. Don't think you can hide it forever. Don't play with other people's lives. Of course, it's not just their responsibility. Everyone should be responsible for their own behavior. You never really know whether the person you're dealing with is good or bad. Sometimes, the person who hurts you the most, the one who traps you, is exactly the one you trusted most, the one closest to you. So please, stay alert. Sigh, this brother is really so wronged. He spent money, gave his feelings, and in the end, all he got in return was illness and anger.
杭州相亲角，男方要求女方做婚检。
Recently, at the matchmaking corner in Hangzhou, a man was interacting with several female candidates when he clearly stated one condition: a premarital medical checkup was mandatory. As soon as he said it, the atmosphere at the scene changed instantly. Before the women could even respond, a few mothers, future mothers-in-law, immediately showed displeasure and led their daughters away. One of the girls was even so emotionally overwhelmed that she broke down in tears and left the scene, crying in frustration. Come on, it's just a premarital checkup. Do you really need to react that strongly? What exactly are you afraid of? Or rather, what are you trying to avoid? Logically speaking, a premarital physical examination should be something entirely normal. It's not only a matter of responsibility between two individuals, but also a matter of accountability toward the future family and the next generation. So why is it that nowadays, the moment someone brings this up, some people act like a nerve has been struck, showing intense resistance and defensiveness? This young man was actually being very sincere. He made it clear that he was willing to accept all the conditions raised by the woman, whether it was the house, the car, or the bride price. He said he was willing to do his best to meet them. But he had only one bottom line: the medical checkup must be done. He wasn't demanding that the woman be some kind of pure virgin, either. He made it clear, as long as the GPA numbers aren't too outrageous, I'm fine. The girl was obviously confused when she heard GPA. The guy explained, G stands for gravida, number of pregnancies, P for para, number of births, and A for abortions, number of terminations. As soon as he said that, the girl got angry, stood up, and left in outrage, refusing to continue the conversation. It's like you're planning to spend hundreds of thousands of yuan on a car. You'd definitely want to check whether it has the original factory engine, whether it's been through any major repairs, whether the mileage has been tampered with, and whether it's a flood-damaged car, a modified car, or a vehicle that's been in an accident. Is it really too much to ask for a vehicle inspection report? Of course, this doesn't mean that used cars are completely unacceptable. It simply means that different conditions deserve different prices. No one wants to be a sucker. That's all. Is that really such an unreasonable request?
评评理啊！我昨天去相亲，遇到一个男的，神经病一样，感觉自己很优秀一样，提这么无理的要求。他说我提的3个要求，结婚彩礼50万，别说50万，51万都可以，房子、车子都可以满足我，但是必须让我去做那个 GPA 的一个婚检是什么意思？他是感觉自己很牛是吗？还做什么婚检？有病啊，是不是？
中国新男性的3大婚姻要求。
In recent years, more and more Chinese men have begun to take a rational and clear-headed approach to marriage, and have gradually formed a general consensus known as the 3 major marriage requirements of the new Chinese man. The first, firmly reject bride price, and advocate for zero bride price. These days, marriage fraud cases are becoming increasingly common. Some couples get divorced just a month or 2 after receiving their marriage certificate, and the bride price isn't refunded at all, leaving the man with nothing. Instead of regretting it after the fact, it's better to avoid handing over a large sum of money in the first place. Not giving a bride price is the most direct way to protect the financial interests of the man's family. The second, a premarital medical examination is a must, and all information must be fully disclosed by both parties, especially key indicators like GPA. A premarital checkup can reveal many hidden health issues and is an important way to prevent future conflict. There was once a man whose girlfriend hid the fact that she had systemic lupus erythematosus. After marriage, the man's family spent a large amount of money treating her. Once she recovered, she turned around and asked for a divorce. This shows that a medical exam is not unnecessary, it's actually the best way to ensure fairness and mutual respect between partners. Full disclosure is, in essence, also a form of protection and respect for the woman. The third, paternity testing should be normalized. Although this measure is somewhat controversial, it can effectively prevent tragedies. The most well-known case is the man who had been married for 16 years, only to discover that not one of his 3 children was biologically his. Shockingly, his wife even asked him, "Is blood relation really that important?" Let me ask you, what man wants to be a lifelong fallback guy? The purpose of paternity testing is not to breed mistrust, but to prevent kindness from being taken advantage of. All in all, these 3 requirements, rejecting bride price, premarital health checkups, and paternity testing, may seem cold, but they are in fact a rational response to the flaws in the current marriage system. They are also a foundational premise for genuine equality and mutual trust between modern men and women. They are not meant to cause conflict, but rather to help couples who truly want to live a stable life minimize risks from the very beginning. Of course, some people may oppose these ideas and claim they show a lack of respect or trust. But what do you think?
Has anyone noticed this? Premarital checkups. Most of the time, It's the men who bring it up, while most women don't dare to do it. In my opinion, premarital checkups are absolutely necessary. If you're unwilling to do one, it pretty much means you're hiding something. Don't use the excuse of not trusting your partner. If you have nothing to hide, what's there to be afraid of when doing a checkup? Anyway, premarital checkups are free now. It's a way to show responsibility toward both parties. You can find out whether either side has any infectious diseases like HIV, hepatitis B, syphilis, and so on. You can also check for hereditary diseases, mental illness, and more. Then there's the examination of the reproductive organs to see if there are any conditions or problems. Finally, it includes checking both parties' medical histories, especially whether the woman has ever been pregnant, how many times she's had abortions, and whether she's given birth before. Honestly, it's this part of the checkup that tears away the last fig leaf for certain scummy or gold-digging women. It exposes their past private lives completely, with nowhere left to hide. You ask for hundreds of thousands of yuan in bride price? Fine. The man agrees to give it to you. When it comes to bride price, you won't budge an inch. But when it's time to do a checkup, suddenly you dodge, delay, and avoid it. Don't you think the man deserves to know whether those hundreds of thousands of yuan are being spent on something worth it? You keep putting yourself in the position of a commodity, saying the higher the price, the better. But if you treat yourself like a product, shouldn't the buyer at least be allowed to check it out? You want a man to marry you, buy you a house, buy you a car, pay you bride price, and he just asks you to do a medical exam. Is that really too much to ask? Besides, once you do the checkup, the man has to do it too. It's not like it only targets women. It's based on a sense of shared responsibility for the future to prevent potential risks. If you have nothing to hide, you don't need to be afraid of your shadow. If both people are fine, then after the checkup, go ahead, have kids, start your life together. If there's a problem, then get treated. Don't waste each other's time. There's really nothing to be afraid of. But if your partner strongly resists doing a premarital checkup, that's when you should start getting worried, because that's a sign something might really be wrong. For the person watching this right now, do you think premarital checkups are necessary, or are they a form of disrespect? Feel free to leave your comment. I'd really love to hear your thoughts. And if you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe to our channel. We'll see you in the next episode.